This is Bowman here from BWOne.com, giving you a look at the new Boxee by D-Link.
Am I good to go?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So for those of you who aren't familiar with Boxee software, it actually started, it was based off of XBMC. When Microsoft came out with their Xbox, some hackers decided to hack the machine and see if they could stream networked content through the Xbox onto their television. And they succeeded beyond anything you can imagine. XBMC is amazing media streaming, and so we use that open source base to create Boxee, which continues to be open source to this day. So Boxee was made to stream media from multiple sources directly to your television. Boxee does it in 3 different ways. The first way is through applications. Currently, Boxee has over 300 applications. 140 are available right out of the box with Boxee software through one-click installs, and another 160 are available through remote third-party sources. Because Boxee is open source, that number 300 is growing every single day. So, I'm going to go ahead and show you. Are a couple of the Boxee applications. Some of them are actually official network partners, things like Netflix.com, MLB TV, CNN, NBC, things like that. We have official applications for those. But then we have some like Facebook Photos, which is actually developed by a third party. Facebook has an open API. Anybody can take it and create different applications. Boxee application. And the guy that actually created it for Boxee's application contest. And when he gave his acceptance speech, he said, you know, I learned the language in a day. I built the application over the weekend. So it's really, really easy to actually add to Boxee's massive list of content. Another great one that we've actually just added is the Boxee browser. So the cool thing about that is you have the 3 tiers of media streaming, which is the Boxee applications, RSS feeds, as well as networked content through a remote source. But then now we're actually adding a 4th one. It's through the Boxee browser. So say like you're watching Lost, and in the middle of it they say go to NBC.com. We have more content that actually goes with this episode that you're watching. You can actually continue playing that feed in the background and open a new and continue playing whilst browsing the internet at the same time. And even if you wanted to, you could continue streaming from the NBC.com feed, open a browser, and stream through that browser as well at the same time. So, like I said, Boxee has 3 different sources of media streaming, the applications, the RSS feeds, and networked content. And for those of you who are familiar with the Boxee Alpha, if you wanted to view something, you actually had to know where it was coming from. So if you wanted to watch something on Netflix, you actually had to go into the Netflix application. It was a little bit troublesome because it's hard for me to remember where I want to get my content from. So with the Boxee Beta, we've actually come out with the library. For each different content type, there is a library, and it automatically feeds all of the content from these multiple sources into one location. So instead of browsing by application, you're actually browsing by content type. So if you want to watch TV, all you have to do is go to TV. As an example here, you can see you have The Office, which is actually coming from the NBC RSS feed, whereas you have South Park, which is actually coming from the Comedy Central application. If we had networked content on here, it would also be here, and it would appear exactly the same. You won't have empty boxes with just a title or a file name on there. If you have networked content, Boxee will the actual cover art for it and the metadata associated with it. So it's going to be seamless for the user and uniform. Another great feature that Boxee offers, because it has multiple sources to pull content from, it recognizes that. And as a user, you're able to choose what source you want to stream that content from. So say, like, we have American Dad here, which you can view from Fox or you can view from Hulu. If you also had this content available on your network's computer, it would also have that as an option. So, if you want to view Fox, say Fox is streaming it in high definition versus Hulu, which is just showing it in regular format. You can choose to watch that higher definition version. If this was also a Netflix option, it would list Netflix. And you would be able to view it without ads. So So as a user, you can choose how you want to view it. Moving back here, we're going to show you some things. This is actually going to show you how Boxee can stream content from a remote source, as I've been saying. With this file here, you can tell it's actually coming from the NAS card that we have connected to it. And thanks to the Boxee box, it's actually going to be playing on full 1080p, thanks to the NVIDIA Tegra 2 chip. We have the ability to not only do the full 1080p, but also support Flash 10.1. So with the things like the YouTube application, you're able to view YouTube in high definition in Flash 10.1.
What media type, media files, local storage does it support? I saw that was MP4. What about WMV?
Texted and all of those. I've been throwing stuff out before I'm not here, and I haven't been able to find one that it doesn't support.
Okay, what about if you want to rip your own DVD library? It'll do that. It would allow you menu control and all that.
Yeah.
In other words, if you might be doing a working version of what Andy are trying to do and did a terrible job of, because I spent my money on that and I wanted to throw it against the wall.
So with this, you're able to see it stream in full 1080p. Thanks to D-Link, we have a wireless N connection, and so you can wirelessly stream in full 1080p without interruption. We're hoping, we haven't set the official specs yet, but we're thinking between 1 and 2 gigs to prevent buffering as well. So you're going to have a seamless viewing without any sort of skipping or issue. But remember how I said you can continue playing content whilst using other applications or browsing. Say you wanted to work on something else, go back to the home screen. You can do that at any time, and this is what it would look like. This one. Now you have the home screen, and you're still playing your video at the same time. And with one click, you can go ahead and turn that off. Boxee also offers on this home screen here, you can see we have this feed on the right-hand side. It incorporates some social networking aspects. When you log in and download Boxee, you create a login and a user ID. Once you have viewed something, you can like it, rate it, comment on it, and recommend it to friends. And friends within that network will then see it in their feed. And as you can see here, we have some people that have commented, some people that have liked it. And as a user, as long as I have that same application, I can go ahead and click on it, and then it will ask me if I want to go ahead and play it from that source. So it's really great for encouraging people to view more content. Say like you're a musician and you want to start recommending your music to other people. People within one click can view your content.
Is there like a conventional remote that you use just for basic navigation instead of keyboard?
Yeah. That's actually the next thing. With the Boxee box, it actually comes with this remote. This remote on the front side has a full D-pad, up, down, left, right, enter, back, and forward, but it really shines when you flip it over to the back. It has a full QWERTY keyboard. So through this demonstration, I've actually been showing how you can hook up a keyboard if you want to. The Boxee box has 2 USB ports as well as an SD card. So if you wanted to attach an external hard drive, if you wanted to use an IR remote, if you had a universal remote that you wanted to use, you can attach them and use them, and they will navigate through Boxee. But the Boxee box does come with a remote that is RA. I made it about over past the RE cellular before I just didn't want to walk anymore, and it was still working. So if you're,
So it's a Wi-Fi based.
it's RA.
RF?
I mean RF. Excuse me. Thank you.
I say RA.
I've been saying that.
RA.
I've been saying that all day. It's RF. Excuse me.
So RF using what?
It has a little a dongle receiver.
That's going to be inside. That's
Yeah.
only because it's a prototype. It's
Yeah.
going to be inside.
Yeah, it's going to be inside the box. Right now we have one that's outside, but it's going to be inside the box. So a lot of people say, Boxee, it's open source, it's free, I can download it, I can hook my laptop up to my TV, why do I need the box? And the answer for that is, for me, I would say you don't. If you have that set up, if you're lucky enough, that works for you. But for me, I have a computer that has a ton of media files on it, and I'd love to stream it to my television, but it's nowhere near my living room because I just don't want a giant computer set up in my living room. So what I actually had to do was buy a secondary computer. I bought a smaller netbook with a lower profile that I could hide behind my TV and network to the larger PC. That netbook cost me about $400. It doesn't do full 1080p. It doesn't support Flash 10.1 just because netbooks, they're good for traveling, but they really weren't meant to stream content in high definition. We're hoping to keep the Boxee box at under $200. We're shooting for a $199 price point. So that makes the Boxee box half the price of that computer that I bought with twice the video quality. So that would be, we're shooting for Q2 to have it available.
Does it go wireless?
It does. It has wireless and technology.
Is it an HD only?
No, it has regular connections as well. If your TV doesn't support HD, you can go ahead. Right.
So it down-reses the user interface then for a standard definition display?
Exactly.
Take a quick look here at the Boxee remote here. On the front here, you have the basic navigation right here, as you can see here. Pretty thin remote. But when you look on the back here, it flips out a full pretty keyboard, which is pretty cool there. It's RF signal based. It can go pretty far in distance. It's a nice feature to have the keyboard right there in the back to be able to type in your content. But this is the Boxee box and the Boxee box remote, and this is BWOne from BWOne.com.